This is big breaking news. We are getting grid blackout warnings for multiple different states, and multiple different grid providers are now issuing grid warnings to conserve energy, and some of them are even saying essential use only allowed for the grid right now, and they're sending out alerts to people's phones, people's emails, and telling them to conserve energy, or there could be rolling blackouts in their area. All right, this is happening right now in live time, and the worst is yet to come. All right, the worst timing for this is actually going to be tomorrow morning, Monday morning. This video is posting Sunday night. The worst time is going to be Monday morning and Tuesday morning, going into these frigid temperatures until the 17th. All right, so this is what's going on. We're getting these grid warnings, and some of them are even saying essential use only. So this is why you need to have backup alternative power sources like generators. All right, you need to have even your car. You need to have phone chargers for your car and have the gas tank filled up for it, because you can use your car as a phone charger, all right, if your phone died. So let's dive into these states here and these different grid providers that are warning people to conserve energy and what exactly is going on. All right, so we have multiple states and region. We have out west and Washington. They are warning to conserve energy. Certain grid providers are. We also have states like Ohio and Kentucky having warnings for winter weather, and they could have blackouts as well. And we are also having major warnings for Texas to conserve energy going into the next few days. And also up in Canada, certain cities and states in Canada are also issuing warnings and saying that there could be grid problems and potentially even rolling blackouts if people do not conserve their grid electricity. All right, and these are one of the things where this never really used to be this big of a deal. People used to be able to crank their heat, and the grid capacity has been taken offline over the past decade or two. They've been taking power plants, taking hydroelectric plants, coal plants. All these things have been decommissioned by the hundreds, and there hasn't been a adequate and equal replacement of whatever they're trying to replace it with, solar, wind, and these things have limits as well. In these winter emergencies, there's no wind right now, and at least in Texas, that's what they were reporting, and the solar capacity goes way down when the sun is blocked out and the days are much shorter, and at nighttime, that's when everybody's really cold, and that's when the grid, that's when everybody's home, that's when everybody's pumping their heat, and that's when the grid is really strained during these winter events, because normally the grid gets a little bit of a rest at night, but now it's being overloaded and not even getting the solar or wind capacity from it as well, right? So let's dive into these states. Let's get into what's happening in Washington, then we will get to Texas, Kentucky, Ohio, and Canada as well. They're telling people to, quote, essential use only for their electricity right now. That means, and they're even saying don't use your oven, don't use your stove, only use a microwave or a toaster oven right now. They are really trying to crack down on these things, and in the future there are going to be things like smart meters and smart grids that can read what appliances you're using. These technologies already exist, but in the future they will be able to shut off certain wattages requirements for starting capacity for these certain appliances. All right, you know how your lights flicker sometimes when the AC starts. All right, that's a big bump in starting wattage for it, and they could limit that. They could limit that so that is not accessible to your house during these events. And you can see here in Washington, it says gas line problem in Lewis County appears to have triggered a PSE warning about the power grid. It says a customer warning from PSE to conserve energy Saturday night appears to have been triggered by a natural gas line outage in Lewis County, Washington, according to the utility and other reports. It says, quote, the natural gas storage facility in Lewis County, quote, suffered a complete outage, triggering a shutdown on the 1,500-mile Northwest pipeline that ships gas to power plants and heating networks across a region currently struck by Arctic weather. All right, so a 1,500-mile pipeline, natural gas pipeline in this region up near Washington and Oregon had to be shut down temporarily to deal with this issue. And they were texting people's phones and emailing them saying to conserve energy. All right, this is happening in live time right now, and the temperatures are expected to get worse in the next 48, 72 hours until things clear and actually start to get warmer. Right, so now is the time to have your gas tanks filled up. Have, even for your car, if you don't have a generator, have your car tank filled up. If the power goes out, you can go in your car and turn the heat on and charge your phone there. We also have other states issuing similar events and similar warnings to conserve energy as well. All right, we have Texas, we have Kentucky and Ohio, and places in Canada doing the same thing. Here's another one, PJM Interconnect, which serves the northeast region of the country. They are issuing a weather alert for their western region of their grid for January 14th to January 17th. And they are expecting extreme low temperatures, and they are warning people that they could potentially need to conserve energy in states like Ohio and Kentucky as well, right? So this is all around the nation. We have another warning in Texas for ERCOT. They were saying that things could be tight yesterday, right? I reported on that, and now they are saying that they are requesting people to conserve energy because it's going to be tighter than expected, and they're saying that there could be potential blackouts in parts of Texas, especially northern Texas, where it's going to get hit the hardest. So you can see here, ERCOT expects tight grid conditions, requests conservation on Monday morning. All right, so tomorrow morning, if you are in Texas, they are asking you to not use as much electricity. And this is just insane that we have to even have these warnings, but this is the condition of our grid. It is deteriorating. It needs upgrades. It needs brought into the 21st century. We need a modernized grid so it is safe and secure. All right, and you can see here that the Electric Reliability Council of Texas has asked Texans to conserve electricity use on Monday morning. It says, due to freezing temperatures, very high demand, and unseasonably low wind, operating reserves are expected to be low during the morning hours of Monday prior to the solar ramp up. ERCOT is asking Texans to conserve electricity use, if safe to do so, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. ERCOT is expecting similar conditions on Tuesday and will continue to closely monitor conditions and keep the public informed. All right, so they're saying tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. that there could be grid issues and grid blackout problems in Texas because everyone's been using their heater all night, using the power all night, but there's been no solar for going on 10, 12 hours, depending on where you are, depending on how the sun is, depending how cloudy it is. It's been a long time without having the solar recharge. Okay, so the grid capacity is a lot lower during these hours until the sun comes out, and it's still going to be low because the output is diminished right now. The sun is much lower in the sky, the angle for it, the days are shorter, and there's also cloud cover and this junk just blocking out the skies and the sun as well. This is another issue, and this is another reason why these programs are potentially dangerous and life-threatening, these solar radiation, these geoengineering programs that I've covered extensively during these situations right now. This is why they matter in real life, is because they create real life scenarios where our grid is in trouble. All right, you can see here there's another warning that was issued in Canada, and they're saying, quote, essential use only. Essential use only. This is in Alberta, Canada. It says Alberta's electric operator AESO has issued a grid alert asking Albertans to reduce electricity consumption to, quote, essential use only. All right. And they're saying that the electricity use dropped significantly after Alberta officials issued an alert asking them to lower their grid use, to lower their electricity use. All right. So they're saying that it actually worked, and people turned off the lights, turned off these certain appliances that are using a lot of electricity, and it worked. So that's a good thing, I guess, that it's working, but it's also just feels like conditioning that we have to do this. You have to do this or there's going to be blackouts, instead of just finding a solution for grid capacity to be increased so this doesn't happen. Think of being a government official and these grid operators and just saying, hey, there's going to be blackouts if you don't. That's a terrible service. That's a terrible service. That's the time when you need it, the time when you need your electricity the most. They're threatening to cut it off and have people freeze potentially if we have rolling blackouts. All right, that's a terrible service, and that should be on their end to increase their capacity and figure it out. We've known that Texas has grid problems for years, and the windmills freeze there because they don't even have heaters in the windmills, so they freeze up and ice up because up north the windmills have heaters inside of them. Okay, and the windmills are a whole nother issue. They are really not even that efficient. Like right now there's no wind even blowing, so they're not producing anyways. All right, so it's just something that it needs to be solved on their side. We shouldn't be the ones that having to go flip some switches on our breaker to go turn off the electricity. All right, we shouldn't have to do that. It should be them fixing it. We live in America. We live in the USA. We should be able to have our power on during a winter storm. This is just crazy. So make sure you are getting stocked up. All right, it looks like there's already over around 250,000 people in the country that are without power right now, just being reported, and these numbers are behind. These numbers are lagged behind, and this is just right now. These are current numbers that are showing on the website of the U.S. power outages, around 250,000, and these numbers are probably going to rise into the morning and going into Tuesday, as we could see more grid events like this and grid alerts being issued. All right, natural gas pipeline had to shut down in the middle of a winter storm, and NERC and FERC, the Federal Electric Reliability Council, they actually issued a major warning just a few months ago how the natural gas pipeline grid almost collapsed going into the northeast of the US into New York. Right, they're saying that pipeline system almost imploded, and it was almost shut down for months. They were saying it would have been shut down for months if they didn't do this shutdown of the natural gas going in. All right, this is what could happen anywhere in the country, and our infrastructure needs rebuilt. We should have this. Think of all this trillions and trillions of dollars that we've spent on all this stuff. I thought we were supposed to like build the country back and have all this modernized stuff. I haven't seen a single thing being built. No roads, no trains, no grid. There's been nothing. Nothing's been modernized or built with this 10 trillion, whatever, 15 trillion that's been printed in the past few years since 2020, right? There's been no real value that's been built in our country from this that anyone can even have access to, really. All right, so let me know what you guys think down below. What are you doing to get prepared? Make sure you are ready. Make sure you got the kerosene lamps. I know I've been showing them, but I've been talking about these for 6 months now, how you need to get the kerosene lamps. And now's the time. If you're sitting in the dark, you're going to be thankful you have those. You're going to be thankful you have a wood stove. You're going to be thankful they have little propane heaters that go in propane bottles, like little propane bottles, camping bottles, green ones. You can screw little heaters on the top that have little flames, and you can have heaters like those. Don't have those inside. All right, I'm not recommending you to have those inside at all, but there's just these alternative heat sources that don't need electricity There's hand warmers, these little heat hand warmers, these thermal warmers you can put inside your coat, you can put inside your gloves, you could put inside your hat. Just make sure you have some kind of prep so you're ready. Be ready to dig in. Stay at your house for the next week if you need to wait till the snow's cleared and you need to go back out and get resources again. All right, try to be dug in for at least a week and have yourself ready and prepared, because that's where you get into trouble too. And make sure you have snow chains in your car as well, because you don't want to get stuck. You don't want to get stuck in the snow on the side of the road and there's nowhere to go. You can't even get home. I've seen cars on the side of the road, abandoned on the side of the road, and then they just get covered in even more snow when the snowplow comes. It just dumps even more, it just buries some of these cars. Not a good situation you want to be stuck in during one of these winter storms. So it's best not to even leave when these big storms are hitting right in the middle of them, all right, unless you really have to. And if you do, make sure you have snow chains, make sure you have a shovel, maybe have some sand, all right, to help get some grit if you're stuck on some ice, all right. These are the things that are going to potentially save you. Have warm clothes in your car, have food in your car, right? This is what you have to do when these storms are hitting and during winter season up north, all right? So thank you guys so much. I hope you're getting prepared. I hope you're safe and warm in your house, by your fireplace, by your wood stove, all right? We got our wood stove, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing to have some kind of heat source that is not tied to the grid that you can use if it goes down, all right? So thank you guys so much. Please stay safe, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.